Welcome back to the Creating Distance podcast, hosted by TA Sales. I'm your host, Tom Alaimo. Some people call me Tommy Tahoe. And each week on Fridays, we'll be bringing you an episode to break down with salespeople and sales leaders the top tips, tactics, strategies, stories that you need to get to the next level of your career and up-level yourself. So let's get into it. Right now, joining us on the pod, we've got Taylor Ouellette and Jordan Winston from Not Your Dad's Media Company joining in. Welcome in. Happy Friday. How we doing?
What's up,
How
baby?
are you, Tom?
I'm doing great. I feel like we got here through a crazy little connection. Like Taylor, I think, we met through Pavilion years ago.
Years ago.
Yeah, like probably like 2022 or something like that.
Yeah.
And Jordan, just been seeing you on the LinkedIn wire for some time. Got the old DM slide in, and yeah, I'm glad we're here.
Little did you know, Tom, I've actually been sitting on your stoop waiting for you to come outside. Past 4 years, and he still hasn't come outside. Waiting for you.
I'm just working too hard.
Yeah, exactly. Grinding.
Just grinding. Excited to have you all in. I mean, I think the two main topics that I want to get to with both of you, and we'll see if we stay on track or if we go into rabbit holes, is really the idea around, career path. Both of you, took a number of different roles, sales, marketing, otherwise, that led you to starting a business together, which I can relate to the same thing. And then also get into what you guys all do and who you work with and who you serve, and a really hot topic around creating content on LinkedIn, doing so as a leader, a sales leader, a founder, an executive, why that's important, how you make content that's really great, why most content is terrible. So why don't we start on the career path piece first? And like maybe a good place to start is like how the hell did you both end up connecting and starting Not Your Dad's Media from the much different paths that I feel like you were both on, in your career, at least if you look at your LinkedIn.
Jayla, you want
Do
to
you want to take this one, Jordan? Oh my gosh. Okay.
So synced.
Okay.
You want to talk about like the before, like where we came from, or like just literally how Taylor and I got connected?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the backstory.
Okay, I'll tell my backstory. You tell yours, Taylor. So going way back, I was in commercial real estate when I was like, when I say way back, I mean I was 22, which is 3 years ago. So I started off way back, yeah. I was in commercial real estate for a while, and I was just I was making $300 a day trying to sell apartment buildings to people that didn't want to buy them, and from there I was dating a girl at the time that was an exec at Pinterest, and so one of her best friends was.
I didn't know this.
Really?
You were dating an exec at Pinterest when you were like 22?
Yeah, that's all.
Okay, we'll leave that.
All this story. One of her best friends was a recruiter at Samsara, so I got a job at Samsara and did the whole SDR to AE thing. While I was doing that, I remember I talked to a couple of different people, but I heard on a podcast say something like, if you're in your early 20s and you want to start making content, the best thing that you can do, because you know absolutely freaking nothing, is just share your thoughts on the internet and share your experience, and hopefully somebody will find it interesting. That's what I started doing. I don't know if anybody found it interesting, but I did. And so then I got to an AE role, started a cleaning company, realized that I didn't want to be a cleaning company founder forever, and thought about like, what am I good at? How can I market something, and then what do I want to build? So then I was scrolling on LinkedIn, and I saw one of Taylor's posts that really made me laugh, and I just slid into her DMs, and I was like, "You would be really good at running founder-led content." And she was like, "Thanks, let's be friends." And that's how I met my co-founder.
Wow. What's the background on your side, Taylor?
Not super exciting. Well, kind of. I was in a couple different marketing roles. I landed for about 2.5 years. I was at a company that I loved and thought that I was going to be at forever. Like I would have, you know, that feeling when you're just like, you accomplish something that you're just like so proud of.
Mm,
And you keep thinking to yourself, like, oh, there has to be a catch, there has to be a catch. But like, it's not. Like, it's just so good. And that's
mm,
how I felt working at this company. Like, I wanted to tell everybody that I worked there. Like I was so proud of myself and like would have stayed there for my whole career. Um, got laid off and I got laid off while I had just bought and moved into a house that like my income was necessary for the mortgage. Had a 5.5 month old baby and it was 6 days before Christmas. And I was like, all right, like this is obvious, like this is happening for a reason, right? Like this is a lot right now. This is super overwhelming, but it's happening for a reason. And also I was like kind of had an ego at the time because at the time, hello. Um I thought that if I had gotten my other job, like I could get anything, right? And so I'm like, it's not going to take me any time. Like everybody's going to be like dying to hire me. And that was so humbling because then it did take me like another 6 months to land a role. I ended up kind of taking the first thing that I got. I knew right away like I wasn't happy about it and I was like constantly questioning why the layoff had happened because I was like I know that this is like I know it's meant to lead me to something bigger and better. And I can just tell that this role is not it. So what is it that this layoff was doing for me? Because this role doesn't feel like it's adding anything to my life. Anyway, very, very quickly into starting that role, I realized the importance of working for a supportive team, working for a team that empowers me and makes me like want to do the best work that I could do. And also one that's just like not horrible and toxic. And um around the time that I had started this role, Jordan reached out to me and we started kind of like talking about what an agency would look like on the side. And then all of a sudden one day I was like I can't do this in my other role, so I quit on a Friday. And on Monday, I talked to Jordan and said, "Do you want to just launch this agency tomorrow and like I'll just do it full time?" And he was like, "Yeah." So we finished the website that night and drafted a post for the next day. And on that Tuesday, it was July 1st, we launched Not Your Dad's. And we were very open about the fact that, like, hey, we have no idea what we're doing. We're figuring this out. We're figuring this out in
mm.
public. So like let's go. Like let's do this all together. Like you guys can come along for the journey with us. And 3 weeks later we signed our first 3 or 4 clients. So
Amazing. You said you started by saying it wasn't an interesting story, and it got very interesting real
I know
quick.
it kind of got juicy, right?
Yeah, yeah. Start thinking about Christmas and all the ramifications with the family. It's like, wow, that was yeah, that's somewhere. I think that's um, it's interesting how life can take you in a different direction like that. And I was when Jordan and I were chatting a couple weeks ago, I shared at least from my experience. I left Gong to do this almost 3 years ago,
hmm
and the first 6 months well, the first like 15 days were actually like super easy, and I landed like two huge deals. I'm like, this is the easiest thing ever. And then, the 5.5 months after that were super, super hard of
Yeah.
like not having the W-2,
Yeah.
clearly not knowing what I'm doing. I still don't, but even knew less than, got involved with a couple people partner wise that did not work out and all
Yeah.
sorts of other things that I didn't, handle very well. So how has the experience been coming from the world of W-2? Jordan, I know that you had an entrepreneurial venture before this, so it's not maybe not your first go at that, but just curious like how that first few weeks, few months has been or was.
It was. I think one of the things we talked about was it was pretty similar. Like I think we had a pretty similar track in terms of
Hmm.
quick traction, um, and then it seems like the music stops a little bit, and then people stop caring as much about your announcement posts, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then you're at a place where you're like, oh, I actually have to now. I have to like really put my all in at marketing this, otherwise no one's gonna care because no one does care, and as they shouldn't. But one of the things I've learned and that I've tried to keep in mind throughout this whole journey, and I've shared with you as well, is that the first 5 years of building a business is really just it's really just your tuition. Like that, you are now getting your education in building business, and the fact that we're less than a year in and you're less than 5 years in, like we're freaking babies at
Yeah.
this. So
yeah,
it has helped a little bit uh, in terms of just mindset wise, because like I feel like building a business is more of a self improvement journey disguised as a way to make money than anything else. So keeping that timeline in mind, that like, oh, this takes way longer than you're going to expect to build something cool. That's it's really helpful.
yeah, for sure. Taylor, what, you know, knowing that Jordan had an entrepreneurial venture before this, I don't know from your perspective, you mentioned like the other company, it's like, oh, I could have worked there forever,
Hmm.
theoretically. Did you ever have like that scratch or that itch to scratch of like, oh, I wonder what it would be like to start a company? Or is it truly just like, I'm in this spot, this feels right, and let's just go and not even like overthink it and like, let's get in here and start doing it?
Yeah, I never had any intention of being a founder. I like always said like I would just work for somebody else forever. Um, when I got laid off, I did have people start coming to me and saying like, do your own thing. Like, like you can write, like you are good with people, all the things, like you can do your own thing. Why don't you? Um, and I wouldn't have if I didn't find the right person to do it with. I wouldn't, I don't think that I would have done it by myself. And it really took someone like Jordan coming to me and saying like, I know these like foundational steps of how to build a business and we can do this together. Um, there are things about sales specifically that Jordan is really good at that I don't know how to do. And there are things about marketing that I'm better at. And I think put together, we are able to like run a good business together and we push each other in a lot of ways and like need to hold each other accountable for some things. And that was just never something that I felt I wanted to be the only person doing. Like I love having a teammate. I love having somebody that I can call when like I'm having a bad day or somebody to celebrate the wins with. Like I have never wanted to do anything just by myself. We come up with the best content together. Like I could think that I have something so funny and as soon as we talk about it, Jordan finds a way to make it better. And vice versa, where like he'll text me something and say like what how do I elevate this? Like we know each other so well at this point too, where we just like know how to make little things better for each other. And that's something that I would totally miss out on if I was doing it by myself.
Yeah, for sure. Any before we get into the content stuff, just on this career path, there's a lot of people that look, they reach out to me because I did this. They might reach out to you. They, follow things like across, different social medias around wanting to start a business, side hustle, whatever it might be. Any like maybe like one like top takeaway that maybe you didn't expect that maybe is even better or harder than you would have expected that you really wouldn't have known until you got into it full time. Jordan, I'll go to you first.
Is this
That's such a
something unexpected?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, it would just be the time frame. You really think that things are going to happen immediately, and they
Yeah,
just really
totally.
don't. They really don't. And you look at some people's career arcs, and people build shit for 20 years, and you're complaining that you don't have customers after a month. Like, you haven't done anything. Um, I think the biggest takeaway, and one of the things I literally have this as a poster on my wall, and it was Taylor's gonna make fun of me for saying that, but it's a Hormozi quote that goes something like, uh, "Do so much volume that it would make it unreasonable for you not to succeed."
Mm-hmm.
And especially with if you're, I mean, I think any business that's the case. Just if you don't do the volume, then you're not going to win. So do so much
Yep.
volume that would make it unreasonable for you not to succeed.
Yep. And I think the learning that I see through that too, whether it's in this game or for the sellers that are listening, is that the more quantity you do, the higher the quality goes up. So the first 100 of something or 1,000 of something you do are generally not very good. But even just by doing a lot, you can't help but get better. You can't help but learn from some of your own mistakes, and start to think about it a little bit while you're on a walk or whatever it might be. And that's, I think, much easier than trying to just get great right off the bat. It's just like throw yourself out there and start to learn.
Yeah.
If you're a seller on this call, if you're a seller and you're listening to this, if you still have any sort of feeling of like, oh, that hurt a little bit when someone tells you to fuck off on the phone, you have not made enough phone calls or enough
Yeah,
emails.
fair. That's fair.
As soon as that stops stinging, then you're like you're getting there. But before that, not even close.
Yeah, that's fair. What about you, Taylor? Top unexpected takeaway.
Well, we were kind of talking about this morning, actually. When we first started, we kept thinking like, oh, we just want to sign up clients, right? Like we just want as many clients as we can bring in. And as it has as we have made our way through signing on some people and churning and all the things that come with starting a business, we've realized that it's better to be picky about who we work with and not just take anybody that we can get. And that's really something that I wasn't expecting, because in my head I'm thinking we just want all the clients. And
Hmm.
now we're at a point where we are analyzing, are they a good fit for us? Are we a good fit for them? And Jordan was saying this morning that he's getting faster at disqualifying people from working with us and just thinking like, oh, we're not right for you. You're not in a place where you need us. We're not going to be helpful for you. You're not going to add anything to our lives, that sort of thing. And that has come very naturally, but also been a bit of a surprise in a good way, I
Yeah.
think.
I'm gonna add on to that and say that's one of those things though that it is not possible to learn the easy, like you have to learn that the hard way.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
like skip the step between being very picky on who you sign up
Yeah.
and but you have to sign up the wrong people in order to learn who's right. So it's just a mistake that I really think that you have to make when you're starting off.
Yeah, there's no other way to learn it than to sign up the wrong person and be like, oh, okay, well, there's nothing against them, nothing against us. It's just, we are just not right for them.
Have
You ever
you
thought?
found?
Sorry to interrupt.
Well,
There's so many things that are like unteachable lessons, right? And
Yeah.
yeah,
one of them is
yeah,
like money won't make you happy. It's like, yeah, I know everyone says that, but like I'm gonna learn that the hard way because I'd rather
yeah.
money.
I'd rather be unhappy with a lot of money.
Yeah.
You have to choose what clients you want. Yeah, okay, let me just get a shit ton of clients that I hate, and then I'll figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You can't like DQ so early. Did you do you feel like in maybe without naming any names, do you feel like when it went wrong that it was just like not the right fit, like stage of the company, goals, things like that? Or, I mean, I'll just, maybe you don't even want to say this. I'll say it. I've definitely brought on clients where it's just like the asshole meter was off the charts, but I was having a down month. And and then like 2 months later, they're not paying their bills or whatever. I don't know if you have
Yeah.
situations like that, but that's
No.
just like the reality.
Yeah, it definitely is. And every situation is so different. I think we've had every client that we have brought on, there have been good intentions on both sides.
Yeah.
And I think that either like one side or the other just wasn't going to be able to give what was needed for a strong relationship, and that's okay. And those relationships that haven't worked out like have ended on very good terms, and like we're cheering them on. And we have one relationship that he is still sending us referrals. So like he's aware that, maybe we just weren't the best fit at the time. Like maybe there's a relationship down the road, but like we both see the value in what the other is making and doing. And yeah, I mean nothing crazy.
If there's a takeaway there, though, I think one of them is I think setting you, especially as a salesperson, I think your natural inclination is to like sell products that don't exist, right? You're like,
Yeah.
our engineering team's on that. Of course,
Yeah. It's on the roadmap.
it's on the roadmap. And I think this is probably more on me than Taylor. I probably said we could do things that I knew that we could do, but it weren't really in the scope of like, how much are you paying us versus how much are we doing? How much are we doing?
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
I don't think I set expectations super well for a couple people, and that led to some kind of discrepancy with how they felt in the relationship.
Well, and to be fair, also, like, it's the first 6 months of us running this business. We're figuring out what our client base needs and wants.
Totally.
And they're figuring out what they want to get from us. So it's a little bit of like a dance there of, hey, we haven't been doing this, but like we can, like we're still figuring out what our specialty is.
Yeah.
And if you need it, like we can try, but who knows?
That's kind of still where we still do that.
Yeah, no, 100%. And all of our clients are different. Everybody has different needs. So like there are people that we're just like very open of like, hey, this is our first time doing this, so bear with us. And if it doesn't work out, then noted. But we're trying.
I think that's all part of the experimentation process too. As part of this. So let's talk content, because I think my understanding is that in the spirit of your product offering, that like LinkedIn is the key focus. Working with teams, working with executives, founders, leaders on building out their brand. Using that as probably an opportunity to also grow if they're a leader. There's like long-term effects for like how they can recruit to the business. Obviously, like driving leads, things like that. All the other great things that can come from a brand. So, tell me if I'm wrong. But if that's right, like walk me through what are just like what are the best practices as a foundational point if you're a sales leader or you're a founder listening and you're like, shit, I definitely feel like I need to like start putting some stuff out on LinkedIn because it's a massive platform. It can do great things for my business, but I don't even know where to start.
I think the easiest thing that you can do is probably and I'm trying to think back of how I started, and so much of it is posting about your own experience, and especially if you're young, you have no expertise. For example, there's a kid, I'm sure you know who he is, Cade Hinkle, who's 18 years old, who's an SDR, and he's absolutely blown up. And
is he the one that posted today? It was like, I was born in 2007. I almost had a heart attack. Oh my God. That was my first introduction to him.
I can guarantee you that he doesn't know anything that you and I, that us three don't know, but his content is incredible and it crushes. And the takeaway there is like, you really don't have to be a subject matter expert. The only thing that you're an expert in is your own experience. So talk about that and find a compelling way to say it.
Well said. So how does one say it better? I feel like, I've been posting content for a long time. Sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. Now I'm trying to stretch myself and get onto these other social media platforms, and I suck. So I need some help.
Yeah.
Okay, so naturally, I like to consider myself a pretty good copywriter. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't.
I would say you're okay.
Fuck off.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. I'm a pretty good copywriter, and but doing this, I'm like, I want to get better. There is a course that costs like $100, and it's Sam Parr's Copy That course, and
Yeah, I've heard of it.
it's really good. It's really simple. They send you an email every day, and the whole premise is you take people's writing that you really like, and you literally take a pen and a paper and you write down exactly what they're saying. And I don't know what it does, but something in your head just goes, "Oh, this is stylistically really good," and your brain starts to emulate that. That's how I got better at writing, and I think it's a skill that you can learn like anything else.
Hmm.
Taylor, thoughts?
I think a lot of being a good writer is writing the way that you would speak to someone.
Yeah.
A lot of people,
Hmm.
I think, like really overthink and analyze sentences too much, and like when you see the words on the page, it's so much more intimidating than when you're just talking to a person like this. And also the thought of just like people are gonna see this, right? I write 100% of my content like the second that I post it, and I write it the way that I would say it to somebody. If it's a joke, or like I think like I'm talking to Jordan or whoever it is, I want people to look at the content that I write and then meet me and think, oh my God, that's obviously the same person. You know, there
Hmm.
are so many people that you write or you see their content and it's like so specific in how it's structured. And there have to be the same line breaks, or the vocabulary that they're using in their writing is not the same that they would use if they're just having a conversation. Um, and when you talk to those people in real life, it almost feels like a different person.
Hmm.
So I love what Jordan said about just talk about your own experiences and talk about them like you would be talking to a friend.
Yeah.
I think there's also like the idea on LinkedIn too, where like I have to sound professional, I have to sound a certain
Ooh,
way,
I've got a hot
and
one.
that's changing, thankfully. So I don't like just be yourself when you're writing.
Can we cuss on here, Tom?
Well, you
Yeah,
already
I
have.
think you already have like 5 times.
Okay.
So keep going.
Fuck the rules, dude. Fuck every LinkedIn rule
Yeah.
that you see people talking about. It pisses me off when people are like, you have to talk and you have to write in this exact format, and the formatting rules matter more than anything else, and your content doesn't matter, but your formatting rules is going to determine whether your post is going to fucking shut up. Like, if your first two lines are like, I think that your hook and the first two lines matter, but outside of that, like, stop paying attention to every LinkedIn guru formatting rules that you have come across. Just write about your experience and try and make it engaging by thinking about the first two lines, and uh, yeah,
Like, don't take it so seriously.
don't take it so seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rules
What
don't
do
matter.
you what when you're thinking about content and brand building, you know, to me again, I've been doing it for a while and it still feels like a little overwhelming
Yeah,
sometimes. It's like I feel like I should be everywhere. I
yeah.
feel like I should be on all these different platforms. I should be making sure I respond to every comment and commenting on other people's stuff. And then, and I do that, and it's like, man, it's hard to tell what really moves the needle. And, how do I judge really is if something's working? Because there is, I think, some validity to I put a post out, it gets, 100,000 views. I put another post out, it gets 1,000. But that one person that saw the 1,000 gets into my pipeline. I don't even know it, but she really liked the post and she thought it was thoughtful. And now that's what tipped her over the edge to buy from me instead of someone else. And it's like impossible to know that. So what are your thoughts on like judging ROI or determining if it's working or how to make it better? Like what do you guys think about that?
Oh, we talk about this all the
Oh,
time.
I'm sure.
you go, Taylor. If you want.
Um,
I can go if you
it's Well, okay. One thing that I'm gonna say is like, especially in early stages, like we are in, um, brand awareness is just so priceless for us.
Yeah.
So, and Jordan is better at this than I am in like, if a post doesn't do well, if I can tell it's not gonna do well as soon as I post it, I'm like taking it down. And because I'm thinking like, oh, I need to have like blah 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 blah.
Hmm.
Jordan's always like, let it ride out. Like any post is awareness, right? Somebody's seeing it. He's better
Yeah.
at that mindset than I am, and that's something that I've been working on. But um, as much as we can just come up with content that emulates who we are as an agency and put that out there, whether it's for me or Jordan or our company page or people are talking about it, that I would consider priceless right now, because the more people that just know who we are, the better.
Yeah.
So I'll answer that so short story long. I think there's a couple different ways to think about it, and the overarching thing of what I'm trying to say is that attribution is it's a lie. Specifically with LinkedIn, like there's no way to attribute. Very rarely is there a way to attribute one post to ROI. But
Yeah.
from there, I think there's two ways to answer that. So as a brand, from the brand perspective, it's I think you kind of have to think about it like the opportunity cost of not doing it. So if your ICP lives on LinkedIn, specifically if you're in sales or you're in Martech, and you're not hanging out where your ICP is, then what are you doing? Like
Yeah.
you're missing out on revenue, right? Just plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
From a personal standpoint, I look back at my own career, and I had a conversation with Troy Munson. I've told Taylor this multiple times, but when he was building demo, when he was a rep and he was building demo, I asked him, why are you building on LinkedIn? What's the point? What are you thinking of? What's your reasoning here? And he goes, I don't know what I'm building right now, but I know that when I do want to build something, I'll have the platform to launch it. So, moral of the story is you don't, from a personal standpoint, you don't need to know what you want to do with it. People are going to say, why are you doing it? And the answer could be, and the answer for me was, I don't really know, but this might be useful someday. And
Yeah.
it turned out running a pretty solid business for Taylor and I. So yeah, you don't need to know why you're posting, or for brands, you don't. If your ICP lives there, just do it.
Yeah. You're creating opportunities that you don't even know exist, and you're creating opportunities for luck to find you, and
A
for the right
million
person to show
percent.
up at the right time, for in a million different ways that could happen. Um, Something that I'm interested about is like, Taylor, you talked about like making a splash and like wanting to create some awareness and things like that. And something that I've been seeing more and more on LinkedIn is like people, shit posting, picking some fights. And
Oh my gosh.
there's a
Yeah.
part of me that's like, when you're the little guy, so to speak, like there's that makes sense because you're picking a fight with someone bigger, and like that's a strategy that has been used many times in a lot of different worlds, and that gets you more attention and stuff like that. But then it also is like, I don't know if I really like them.
Yeah.
It's like they kind of seem like assholes. So I don't know. Like, what's your opinion? I've teetered. I feel like generally like pretty nice to people and stuff like that on the internet. But like like once a month, I'm like, I can just shit post like these three people and just like stir some stuff up on LinkedIn. What do you think about that?
There are some people that deserve it.
Yeah,
Um,
fair,
I try to stay away from that, although I will give attitude if attitude is given.
fair.
And there have been a couple times. There
You
have been
want
a
to talk
couple
about the one
times
without mentioning names?
without mentioning names.
Yeah.
What about it?
Do you remember which one I'm talking about?
I know which one you're talking about. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
I think so. Where is a
The
whole
same one.
LinkedIn thread?
Yeah.
Yes. Tell that story.
And we got into a little bit of a fight with somebody on
Very
LinkedIn.
prominent in the LinkedIn sales community.
Yeah,
Oh God,
and
I need to know who it is.
we'll tell you after. So somebody had posted, just to like piss people off, something about how you don't deserve like a CEO title or a CRO title if you don't have X amount of people on your team.
If you haven't raised money,
And
you haven't had the same amount of people on your team.
yeah.
Bullshit.
And so just like trying to knock down like early stage founders and like people that are working on building something bigger, right? And so
Yeah.
like it pissed me off. So I commented on it and I was like, ew. That's literally all I said. I was like, ew.
And I commented on it, and I was like, knocking on people that are trying to build is a really fucking bad look.
And then this guy just like wanted to destroy us.
And
That's
we got into
hilarious.
a like maybe 15 comment thread, and he ended up mixing up the words like there, or like there.
Mm.
It was like a there, and there situation, two,
Oh.
and two. And so we just started calling him out on his grammar. And we're like, you
Oh,
can't
man.
be a CEO if you don't know the right
By the way,
two.
I think when you look at the amount of comments and who liked what comments, we fucking crushed him.
Crushed.
Are they a CEO?
No, he's
No.
he's just a like mid level
Just
manager.
dingus.
Got it. Okay.
But regardless. No, I mean I try to stay impartial to all of that kind of thing if I can help it. If I have had a little bit too much caffeine or I'm like in a bad mood, then those people hate to see me coming. But no, ultimately, like we don't want to pick fights with anybody. We want
Yeah.
everybody to love us.
Yeah. But you wouldn't pick fights with like, you wouldn't be picking fights with like random people. In your case, like the thing that I would be bringing up in this case would be like, our business focuses on, sales, training, and consulting. So like I could pick a fight with the person that you think about when you think about sales training that's been doing it for a long time, or you could pick a fight with a really big marketing agency that you kind of think is like an old dinosaur that just like doesn't know what LinkedIn is. Like, do you think in those cases it's worthwhile or still kind of a bad vibe?
You know what? I don't think that it's worthwhile. I would rather bring attention to myself or my company by doing something like just totally out of box and not trying to like knock anybody down. Even if it's like out of fun,
Yeah,
I say all the time that like your competitors are doing something right. Like
yeah,
whether you want to admit it or not. And I just like have respect for the people that are also trying to do the same thing as me. And I know that like they have gotten to a place that they're at because they're doing something right. There's always something that they can learn from us. There's something that we can learn from them. And maybe they have a dream client of ours, but like maybe it truly is a better fit that they have that client, you know?
hmm
Um, I would rather get attention by just doing something like so out of the box than picking a fight with somebody. Like so Jordan and I use this all the time and we're gonna do it. And we say like we can't talk about it enough, but like we have to actually do it. Where the peanut butter thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
okay,
there's a few things actually. One is like we want to go to all different kinds of like crazy conventions like FurryCon and like vlog the whole thing and just like go up to like people with their tails on and like whatever and just say like what's your LinkedIn content strategy and just like have a normal conversation with them just like and
that's
like
hilarious.
that to me if I saw that I would want to work with that person way more than the person that picked a fight with whatever sales leader or the other one that's like my current favorite is cover Jordan head to toe in chunky peanut butter and
Yeah,
have him walk down the street to the Trader Joe's and ask them if they have any more chunky peanut butter and vlog the whole thing and just like put it on LinkedIn. It has nothing to do with what we do, but it and like would shock people on LinkedIn because we're not talking about our sales strategy or like our go-to-market strategy. We're like at Trader Joe's covered head to toe in peanut butter. I want to work with those people. I don't want to work with the person that's knocking somebody else down.
yeah.
Be,
I
be
love
the,
that, Jordan.
be
What's the
the
pushback on not why has that not happened?
We need like
That's a great question.
We're working on it.
I
Okay.
think we're working through some kinks right now.
We
But
are.
Okay.
but yeah, be the Keanu Reeves in the world of Jake Pauls. You don't need to
Yeah,
be a dick.
Yeah, you don't need to be a
that's fair.
dick.
You
And
really don't.
like the most
It's
successful
cute.
people, like just be nice. Mind your business. Mind your
Mind your
business.
business.
I think
Yeah,
that
I like that.
the rule, so yeah, I won't expect you to comment on this, but there was a post that I saw that really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. It was this guy named Brandon Klauser or whatever. He posted like 4 or 5 other sales trainers that he's just completely bashed on, and 4 or 5 people sent me that post as well, and they were like, "This is terrible. Can we make a post about this, saying like how bad this is?" So yeah, it got a ton of attention, but you also got to ask, like, do you want to be well known or do you want to be known well by people?
Yeah.
Period.
You could be well
Mic
known.
drop.
You could be well known by going out and doing destructive shit, but is that how you want to be known? Probably not.
Yeah, I think it probably gets to the what's the goal? Is the goal to
Oh yeah,
just create as much attention as possible, or are you really building off of your reputation and the trust that you build with people? And I think to me that's what a brand is like you're slowly every single day putting, something in the piggy bank of like trying to build trust at scale with people so that, like you mentioned with Troy, at some point you can make a deposit or you can make a withdrawal, which is like, hey, I'm launching this thing. Can
yeah,
people share it with others, or are you interested in buying or taking a call or something like that? Or if you're not running a business, it's like, hey, I'm looking for a job or I'm looking to hire people or whatever, I'm trying to get funding, whatever it might be. um, if you haven't started building and building and building, you can't just make that ask. It's going to go to
totally.
crickets. But if you've been doing it for a long time and then you launch something or you need something, people are there to, kind of like catch your back.
The one thing I'll say on LinkedIn as well is this was not the case for me 2 3 years ago, but like I have where's the like I have job security for life. Like
Yeah,
I
I
could
feel the
go
same
get
way.
yeah, I could go get a you and I both like if shit hit the fan and you really needed like TA sales all went to shit and not your dad's went to shit, then we could go get a job easily. And that's a very underrated part of what we're doing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And it's I used to call it like career insurance. That it's like
Yeah,
if shit
great.
hits the fan, you've got this random group of people, potentially strangers, that have been following your journey and can hook you up. And I've seen it happen with a lot of people that, they're part of a company, there's a layoff, and they're able to get back on their feet really quickly because they've been documenting and sharing things along the way. And now all of a sudden, like they got a new job, maybe even a better job when something like, really terrible happens. So I think there's a lot of upside you can get from it, but it also just, I think, limits the downside of anything negative happening in your career that you can always bounce back.
Totally. And there's a push for authenticity in this world, whether it's in
Yeah,
literally whether it's in politics or on LinkedIn. Like people want authenticity. So just talk yeah, just be yourself.
love
As
it.
trite as that advice is.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I know we're getting close to time. First of all, I want to just thank both of you for joining, jamming out on a
God,
Friday
thanks for
afternoon. I'm
us.
probably the last thing, or close to the last thing that's holding you up from your weekend. So, I always appreciate that. Would love to give y'all the opportunity to share where we can learn more about Not Your Dad's Media, learn more about you, comment on your LinkedIn, any other advice that you have, kind of like one hitter advice for people building out their brand or building a business or anything like that, and then we'll wrap this thing up. So Taylor, you first.
All right. Yeah, I mean, follow both of us on LinkedIn, Taylor Ouellette, Jordan Winston, and then the Not Your Dad's Media page where our logo's little mustache. And notyourdadsmedia.com. You can learn all about us.
There you
And
go.
I
Love
don't
it.
have any other advice. You sucked it all out of me, Tom.
I'll throw one last little piece of advice that helped me. I think um, you can be decent at everything, or you could be really really good at one or two things. And I think that it's still underrated to be really really good at one or two things. So if you're really good at cold calling, or you're a really good writer, or you're a really good coder, then you can absolutely build a business around that skill. So like Tony Brophy built an entire business around being a good cold caller. That's it. So I do think that I still think that getting really good at one skill is the unfair advantage that you have.
Couldn't agree more. Taylor, Jordan, appreciate y'all coming on. You rock. I encourage everyone to go check out your pages on LinkedIn, the company page, and I'll continue following along the Not Your Dad's journey and supporting.
You're the man,
Thank
Tom.
you so much. So good to chat with you.
Always good. Always good. Appreciate y'all.
Thanks for checking out that episode. Two quick things as a takeaway. Number one, we would feel honored if you left a review wherever you're listening to this podcast, if it's on Spotify or Apple or YouTube, to just let us know how we're doing, what else you'd like to see. If you'd like to learn more about us, you can check us out at tasales.co. Love to hear from you there. Much love. Have a great week.